How we doing, folks? It's Richie Rich back yet again, and this time I'm bringing you the second part to a Black History Month review, and this time we're going to be doing Little Miss Jocelyn, one of the greatest TV series ever made in the UK. Be sure to check this vid out.
The story began with a push and a shove and left the two parents with a bundle of love. A couple years on and the fun never ends. Always up to mischief, playing with her friends. In a teen she discovered the desire to perform, but found it difficult being shy and withdrawn. So sit back, relax, grab your lager or wine, because you bring a little something that will tickle your spine.
So, Little Miss Jocelyn. This is the British TV classic comedy series that aired in 2006 and ran for 2 seasons, which is hence these series 1 and series 2, and ran for 2 seasons, which was 2 years. So it came from 2006 to 2008. This is a very special series for me daily, and it's because over in the UK, seeing like black sitcoms, black TV shows in general is very minimal. You don't really get too many like there was in the UK there was never really like a Martin TV series, or like like I reviewed Hanging with Mr. Cooper. There was plenty during the 90s and even in the early 2000s in the western side of the world, but in the UK it was very far between. They had what was it, Desmond's, which was the Jamaican black kind of family sitcom, which was I'm not quite you have to help me out on this. I believe it was like maybe in the 80s, pushing early 90s, and that. Then you had like the Lenny Henry show, who Lenny Henry is a famous a UK black comedian, and that. But after that, there really wasn't any kind of like notable black UK British sitcom, until this came, which was in the in the mid noughties. And this was kind of one of a kind. It wasn't really like the other like black TV shows that were of the past, in comedy or like just entertainment. This was it was a sketch comedy show. It was it's very it has a lot of similarities to Dave Chappelle show. Not saying that it's on the same level. Chappelle's show is an iconic sketch comedy show, but it has like a lot of them elements, of like a different characters. It's basically like who I'm going to speak about later, the actual lead of this, Jocelyn Jee Eisen. It's basically like a comics joke book being put onto screen. This is like all of Jocelyn's like imagination being put onto television, so everyone can see it, and be entertained. So we can't talk about Little Miss Jocelyn without talking about the main actress, Jocelyn Jee Eisen. If for those who don't know, she's a black British comedian who's done stand-up for years. She's done like a few acting guest spots, like in The Bill. I don't know if she was on EastEnders and that, but she's been around and that. And she's actually, I believe she's half Nigerian and half Ghanaian. That's where you get the SEN from. But she was actually on a TV show that was very similar to this, which was called Free Non-Blondes, and that was like it was actually three black women with Joyce and Essie and two other black ladies who I don't do, black comedians who I don't actually know off head, but they used to go out and about on the streets of London, and they would get filmed doing skits, so it could just be provoking the UK, provoking the British public, or just like doing like comedy skits on the everyday streets, kind of like they're punking people as well, and they're getting like filmed by like hidden cameras and that, which was just very like it sometimes went a bit too far in that, but it was very like different. We hadn't seen that in the UK the first time, you know, 3 black women, you know, who were all comedians, you know, going around, you know, the everyday streets of, you know, Britain. So, like, if you take the formula of 3 non-blondes and, like, with, like, you know, Jocelyn Jee's, SCN's, you know, like, creativity, that's what you get with Little Miss Jocelyn. You know, she actually created the stories, did the writing for it, and also had the ideas for the many characters that appear in this show. Yeah, so like the many characters that appeared in this were like a Jiffy, which everyone doesn't know, that's the African traffic warden. So, you know, like where you've parked your you know, you've gone to park your vehicle and you've probably stayed over time, you know, she gives you a ticket. You know, it's a common thing that happens in UK, you know, like majority of the times, not to be like stereotypical, in majority of the times it is like African women, you know, who have just come from Africa and like are giving you know, tickets, you know, to people who have left their vehicles over time, you know. And Jocelyn just captures the accent and the mannerisms to a T. You know, it just feels like it's like she went into a different character to do this. You know, it's just tremendous acting skills. Then on the same lines, you know, she was the Prince William's girlfriend, which was don't know if you can see, it was this one, you know, where like they go into this kind of royal kind of venue, and this guy who's, I think he's meant to be like Prince you know, Harry or something, like he's a royalty kind of figure and that. And you know, what's funny is it's kind of like an all white scenery, you know, so you got like this guy is meant to be like Prince Harry, you know, they're like the royal subjects and that. Then out of nowhere, this African his girlfriend, who's Jocelyn, comes in as African, and she actually, from head to toe, she wears like the African garments, you know, like the big earrings, you know, the African, you know, cultural items. But yeah, there were just so many fun characters that were from this show, you know. It was just, and a lot of them were kind of like basically kind of stuff that happens in everyday kind of life in UK, especially from a black perspective, you know what I mean? Because again, you know, like, you know, when a lot of black people are watching you know, shows, TV shows in general, they're always seeing stuff from the western side of the world, you know, USA and the States, USA in general, you know. And like when you're seeing it in the UK, for instance, you know, like kind of what I'm leading on to is like the biggest one is the there's a character she plays which is called Fiona. And Fiona, she works in the corporate environment, and to all of her colleagues there, she's not known that she's black because she whites herself up, if that makes any sense, to appeal to kind of like the job that she's working at, you know. So she has all them white manners, like, hello Charlie, hello, you know, oh, I came in at 10 minutes late, and that, you know, like she does like stuff basically to stay on the same level, because she's like the only black person working in working in the whole you know, corporate environment, you know, where she's working as, you know. So she doesn't appear, she rejects like being black, you know, which is so funny. And what was a regular common theme was a new employee would always come in and they would be black, or like at one time it could just be like a black person actually coming in. Like I remember Frank Bruno came in, Chucky Venn, who was, I think he was in Footballers' Wives, and there was another one, I'm not sure, kind of sure his name yet, but he was a postman, another black guy, you know. And every time they came in, Jocelyn would always be like, oh, you know, why'd you know, I've been working almost 7 years and no one knows that I'm absolutely black, you know. So the last thing I need is postman black coming in here, you know. So it was just hilarious, you know. And the funny thing is, you know, in my own experience, you know, I've been into some kind of corporate, you know, corporate like workplaces and that. Never worked for them, but gone into interviews and that. And I've spoken to some, not even just black, just ethnic minorities and that, you know. And sometimes when they go in there, it's like they have to, kind of change the way they're usually around their people, if that makes any kind of sense, because they're in a place where they're minority and the majority acts a certain way, so they can't act too urban, cannot act too street, otherwise they'll be kind of like singled out, it's just kind of like just, fitting in a kind of weird way. Cool. And another like really really again, I don't know how like Jocelyn Eisen came with this, it's completely just like, unique kind of comedic material. There was the hairdresser skit, which she played like a rival hairdresser across the street. So there was one hairdresser on the opposite side. These were black Afro Caribbean hairdressers opposite on the side on the same street, and they were competing for customers. And this one really stuck for me because when I was growing up, my mom worked in UK, worked on the streets, worked in London as a black hairdresser, and we had the almost identical thing of like another Afro Caribbean like hairdresser slash barbers across the street. So we were competing for customers and that, and when she does the in this one, she portrays a Jamaican hairstylist, and it's like it's so crazy. Like she can do the Nigerian accent and the Jamaican accent, and it's actually feels like she's actually native from either Jamaica or Nigeria. She'd be like Lillian, and they'd be like, Claudette, this town isn't big enough for the both of us. That was my best Jamaican accent, but like it was just like, it was so when you've been in them experiences and you kind of see it being like made for fun on TV, it's just spectacular. She was just it's just like I said with the the Hangover with Mr. Cooper TV series, like I did a week ago. It's kind of thing. I think she's a very very underrated comedian, and she's a very very terrific character actor. She has a lot of them similar traits that Dave Chappelle has, playing them different characters, or Eddie Murphy or Martin Lawrence. It's sometimes you think it's very easy to do, to change to different characters, at the spot of being like recording and that, but it takes like, not many people can do this, play almost like 10 characters in our own TV show, and do stand up on the side as well. So she's a very great comedian, and it's a shame because this only ran for 2 seasons, and since then nothing has come close to this, in like an actual strong, black TV comedic entertainment show. You know what I mean? Like this definitely, obviously, I forgot to mention, it influenced the Phone Shop TV series. Like even one of the actors, I think he's Jarwayne. Yeah, I may be saying that right. He actually appeared in this show. I think this was his first like early acting credits and that, and a lot of the themes in this play into like why Phone Shop is such a successful show as well, And I even forgot to mention, this was also the first Jocelyn Eisen. She was the first black female, comedian, actress, whatever you want to call it, to be offered her own TV show, a comedy show ever, what I mean, in UK or in America, because like it would be it's very difficult to say if she probably is the funniest black comedian, because there have been others, like Gina Yashir, hope I said that right. She was on the Lenny Henry's show, and Andy also, another African comedian, Ava Vidal, she's another stand-up comedian in the UK. Then you got like, ones across the western side, like other, black comedians, like like AJ Sanders, who's in Different World, Samore, who was a regular like on the Def Comedy Jam show. Also like Jennifer Lewis, who the auntie in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Diva, that one, you know. So there has been plenty black comedians in the past, you know, but none of them have ever like accomplished having their, you know, own, you know, TV comedy, you know, comedy sketch show, you know, like you know, like I said, the closest thing to this for me would be Dave Chappelle's Chappelle Show. You know, not in quality standard, just the idea of the sketches. You know, and when I mean that is some of the Chappelle Show sketches are so brilliant, but why it's so brilliant is because only Dave Chappelle could have created that. No one would have ever thought of that black white supremacist, you know, when he's like, I hate Frank, you know, that the blind one, the one that episode in the first sketch, or when he made the what if the internet was a real place, you know, or the Rick James stuff. That is completely, you know, it's also, you know, Neil Brennan, you know, like was the co-writer, you know, he helped as well, but it's completely like only Chappelle could make that. That's why it's so successful, you know. It's very similar to this, you know, the sketches with Jocelyn, you know, even like when she plays the white South African Prim, hilarious. No one would ever have thought of this. That's why it's so you know, it's so like authentic, you know, because it's her own like take on her, you know, on her comedy, like what she finds funny, and it's like it entertains the masses because it's completely original. So like both of the DVDs spans almost up to about 14 episodes, which is relatively short because it got the acts around 2008, you know. I only wish it went longer, you know, because I remember it would come on, you know, BBC over here, you know. I think it was every Friday night. So I remember, you know, being when I was younger in high school, what they call it secondary school here, you know, can't wait to finish on Friday, then like this would air 8 o'clock and that, you know. And I remember just so much that nostalgia memories of, you know, this coming on, you know, because it was them everyday experience. She was making fun of the show. That was exactly what was happening. So like, who would I recommend this to? It anyone who's watched Three Non Blondes or Lenny Henry show, you know, like, again, it is a UK based sketch show, so a lot of the stuff you see, only people in the excuse me, only people in the UK would understand, you know, like, you know, the double decker buses, you know, going into like fish and chip stores, you know, like you know, the way like the themes there, you know, some only people in UK would get and that. But I think anyone who's a fan of sketch comedy, you know, like probably like SNL, you know, definitely like the Chappelle Show, they would definitely find this very appealing, you know. It's a very like you know, it's always like I said, it's always great for like when ethnic people see someone on the screen, you know what I mean, see one like someone who looks like them on the TV screen and that. Yeah, like when you see someone who, you know, for any ethnic person, when they see someone on the screen, you know, that looks like them, and especially when they're the minority, you know, it helps them like has that kind of relation, you know. Like I could relate to the hairdressing skit, you know. I could relate to when she played like, you know, the African when she, you know, played the African warden or the Nigerian, you know, driving instructor, you know, stuff that, you know, I've always experienced, you know what I mean? So it's a very, very like, you know, like I said with the Hanging Mr. Cooper, very underrated TV sketch, you know, comedy, you know. Jocelyn Eisen, she's brilliant, man, you know. I just wish she, you know, would, if she even didn't come back with this, you know, if she could just come back with, you know, like, you know, Netflix, like they have them kind of like specials, you know, like a stand-up, you know, like a 1 hour comedy special, you know. I would love that if she returned for that, you know, because it seems like a lot of big comedians are getting that now, especially in the States and that, you know, like Bill Burr's getting that, you know, obviously Chris Rock and that, you know. So I would just love, even if she didn't return for like this sketch comedy, I just would love to see another like appearance of Jocelyn Eisen in this kind of you know, format material, you know. I'm desperately crossing my fingers and hoping for this, you know. So yeah, guys, that's my review for Little Miss Jocelyn. Let me know if any of you guys who have happened to see this, you know, like, please, like, drop me some comments, you know. Let me know, like, how you feel about the you know, the type of comedy that Jocelyn SCM presents, and that, you know. And yeah, just if you like these you know, review series I'm doing, you know, make sure, you know, hit that like button. Also, always remember to subscribe, you know, hit me up on my, you know, social media platforms. And I'm gonna be coming up with the next review. So I've done 2, I've got another 3 more, you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm gonna be coming with my next review very, very, very soon. So guys, I guess this is the end of the review, and like I always say at the end, Richie Rich will be back yet again. Peace, 2 fingers.